Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM20 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 2, Episode 2, and today we're back after a very strange start to the season. We've got a big game coming up against Stockport County, and we'll be showing you it live on camera in a moment. We've got a lot to get through first off the pitch, and a lot of unique things to talk about. But firstly, we start on the screen of Luke Graham, partly to avoid any spoilers as always. We'll do our usual blurb in a moment, but there's something interesting about him to talk about too. But before we do that, this is the first episode I'm recording since reaching 1,000 subscribers, so a massive thank you to everyone who's joined along the way. I really do appreciate it and can't thank you enough for your support, and I hope we can continue to grow and enjoy these two long-term stories on the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, then please do for daily content. We'll be rotating between this story and our Dorking Wanderers series, and if you're enjoying the series, then put a thumbs up on the video. It really does make a massive difference to the channel. Finally, if you're yet to see the first episode of this season, it's certainly one you want to go back and check out from a couple of days back. There's a link to it in the eye above, as well as the whole series playlist, so click back to catch up with anything you've missed, and then pop back over to this one when you're done. But the reason we've started on Luke Graham is particularly because he's been playing out of position. For those of you that were here in the first episode of the season, you'll know we've got a very threadbare squad due to our director of football. Let nearly everyone go and taken almost no action, and as a result, Luke Graham's been playing right back for the last month and a half. Since the start of the season, Vidal got injured after 2 games, and Luke Graham, the 34-year-old player coach, can't run, can't move. He is playing fullback for us. Can't cross the ball either, so we've lost a bit of an attacking threat, but he's done okay and he's just about kept us solid, and as a result we've still got our job in September. So of course that is the one positive so far this season. There's not much else we can draw upon. If we go back to the home screen to see how we're getting on, we're clinging on in 16th place on 9 points after 8 games, and that after beating the bottom side Hyde by a narrow 1-0 victory in midweek. They are yet to get a point this season, and they ran us very close and should have equalised late on. If it wasn't for that, we'd be in the bottom 3, as we were before we played that game, but we're just about out of trouble going into today's one. Though we've got a big side and one of the pre-season title favourites next up, which is going to make things a little bit tricky for us. They're still managed by Jim Gannon despite getting relegated last year, and if a side like them has a poor start to the season, we're hoping that's a job we might be able to get. Ironically, the best pass completion on that home screen falls to Jacob Scarisbrick, someone who we'll talk about in the next episode. One of the youth intake from last year, and he's done a really good job for us so far, although he's going to have to play even more now due to a remarkable thing we'll show you in a moment. James Morris, the new striker, scored 4 goals already this year, just starting to be our Reece Kavanagh. Not quite as good, but he's had less service, and all things considered, he's done a really good job. So let's go and have a look at the one other bit of positive news, and that falls on our profile screen. We've now completed our first coaching badge. The board won't let us take another one yet, probably because our job isn't that secure, but that is going to make a difference for our next job. We've still got the minimal reputation, so nothing else to get excited about, and we've certainly got nothing to enjoy in the transfer market as we continue to be baffled by our director of football. We've got one player that's being linked with coming in on loan. This has been going for about 2.5 weeks now, so I'm assuming he won't, otherwise it would have been accepted, although we do very much need a right back, so I'm not even going to bother showing him yet. I recorded a bit where I showed you the person we were linked with in the last episode. He ended up rejecting us and I had to cut it out, so I'm not even going to bother with it this time. Let's look at the transfer history though. If there was one position you said we were well covered in the last episode, and 1 or 2 positions where we were probably quite light, you would have said we're well covered at centre half and we're quite light a fullback in centre midfield. So let's see who we've got in and let's see who we've let out. We've signed a centre half on loan from Aldershot, and we've let one of our central midfielders leave on a free. Absolutely baffling across the board. Someone please explain to me what's going on. I know because we've got a back 5, perhaps they think we need more centre halves, but I'm only playing a back 5 because I haven't got anyone else. It really is a bit of a catch-22. You want to set up a different tactic so our director of football knows what we want to play, but equally I've got to play the back 5 for matches and I've got to train it to make sure the players are competent. So William Hartshorne is the man who's come in, a very good centre half, I'm not complaining, but I don't want 500 quid a week of our remaining wage budget used on that. We really need to be signing fullbacks and midfielders. But 4-star ability, 5-star potential, 3 pretty average games for us so far. Not very good in a back 3, which is causing a little bit of the trouble, but a young defender with plenty of potential, and I'm certainly sure he'll do well if we can go to a back 4. Then the player that left was Mo Sebe and G, a player who didn't feature much last year, and he's not a good player. I'm not devastated he's gone, though I am shocked that Basingstoke are paying him £1,000 a week, but we're not too disappointed to see the back of him, although we're very upset we haven't yet had a replacement. Both of those were over 2 weeks ago, and immediately after that he bid for the right back, so that's now 2 weeks where we haven't had him signed for the club, so I'm a bit dubious about our chances of getting him. But that leaves the dynamics in a pretty average state too. The team cohesion's just popping up in our new formation, the dressing room atmosphere and manager support's good, which we're going to need if we continue to struggle, but I fear it may go downhill today if we face Stockport at home and get absolutely battered. But let's have a look at the results since the last episode. We are just starting to shore things up at the back, but we're not looking good in front of goal, we're not creating many chances, and you can't really expect it with the squad we've got, so we certainly can't complain at the state of play. So after that Chorley game where we narrowly lost, we went 3-1 down away at York City. Again, Morris gave us the lead in the first half. Vidal got his long-term injury in that game too, and Lundstrom was out for a couple of weeks after that injury, and he also got sent off a bit later down the line. So a 3-1 defeat there, followed by our first win of the season at home to Alfreton. Ronaldo Pearson with 2 goals in that one. We did not deserve to win this game in a million years. The 2 goals we scored were absolutely comical. One where the keeper dropped it, and then one where it was an open goal from 6 yards out. Ronaldo Pearson never had to beat a keeper to score. Then away to Blythe, back to usual service. A 2-0 defeat, including a last minute goal. That was the one where Lundstrom got sent off, so we never really had a chance to get back into it. Though if you look at it in a nice way, we are 4 unbeaten now. 3-1 all draws on the bounce. Morris with an equaliser at Guiseley. Joe Scars with a goal to give us the lead against Nuneaton. That one was a free kick, a really good finish, but against a newly promoted side that's not a great result. And then away to Darlington we drew 1-1. Morris goal cancelled out pretty quickly, before Joe Scars with a relatively late winner against Hyde, although Hyde had many chances to get back into it. In the last 5 minutes they had 2 or 3 great opportunities. Thankfully we did manage to hold on though, and with 2 more youngsters coming off the bench, Jarram and Bunting both contributing. So a pretty decent start to the season, and the young players are getting football, and that possibly could be a blessing in disguise for this club. As they develop through the years, it will probably benefit the club in the long term. You can see the development some of these guys are making over the summer. The likes of Bunting, Johnson and Scarisbrick, all of them are featured for us so far. They're not ready to play for us really. They've all been recommended for the under-23 squad, but with such a thin team, we've got to go for it. We're often playing 2 or 3 of them off the bench. So let's get into the match today at home to Stockport and show you just how weak we are in front. We've got no depth at all, and they've got 1 injury, but I'm sure they've still got a far stronger squad. Nearly 1,000 people coming to watch us, and Luke Graham still at right wing back. It's absolutely hilarious until we get that low man in, or Vidal when he's back from injury in a couple of weeks' time. Jerram's often come on for him at the hour mark because Luke Graham's been absolutely cream crackered. 3 for tackling, 2 for crossing, 5 for acceleration. He's like a 34-year-old himself, and again he's naturally a centre half, but he's already made 6 appearances for the club. And then similarly Scarisbrick, he's made 5, though we will talk about him a bit more in the next one, and Bunting's made 4 himself too, although his mans have often come a bit later on. Cameo appearances, a bit like the first day of the season. He's not really got the defensive mindset, and we've often needed to hang on to results. So with all of that done, the lineup for today, I am going to make one slight tactical tweak. Williams at centre half, we're going to change him to defend rather than cover. We've been caught a bit deep, so we don't need a covering defender. We're just going to play them as a standard back 3. So Manny Adem in goal, Luke Graham right wing back hilariously. Joe Scars is over on the left hand side. Hartthorne, Williams and Dean are back 3. 3 really good centre halves, but not performing well together. None of them really confident playing in a 5. And then Lundstrom, Carter and Kennedy in the middle. Pearson and Morris up front, and we're now playing very narrow down the middle, focusing our play through the middle as well. We're time wasting a bit, we've got a lower line of engagement, everything we can to just try and cling on for points. We're not trying to play exciting football, we're not trying to be too attacking really, we're just trying to grind points out until we can get 2 or 3 more players into the club. The benefit of the new centre half signing is we've got 1 first team player on the bench, Harry Philby of 2.5 stars, and he joins Daniel and T, who's another decent player, but as you can see the other 3 subs are all youth players. We've got Lewis Landers outside the squad, the backup keeper, Vidal who's coming back from injury, and that is the entirety of our squad at the moment. 15 senior semi-pros, and then 3 youth players making up the rest. So let's get into this game and see if we can produce another display. Every time we get a point it's a miracle, although it's going to be a really tough test against Stockport, a side that'll be up there at the end of the year. I mean, there's some really good players in this Stockport side. A 4-4-1-1 they're playing today. Osborne on the right wing, Andy Bond in the middle. Niall Bell, the striker's a good player too. There's plenty more. Barrow at left back's a good player. They really have got a very strong side. We're going to encourage the lads and just get them to do their best. We're not expecting too much from this game, but again, if we can keep the score down, as we're in a lovely red suit over there, probably the one good bit of club kit we've managed to get. That's probably worth a few hundred kit. Get rid of that one and we can have the Stockport player. Maybe they'll be able to lend us someone on loan. It looks like they've got a few good players on the bench. Is Osborne on the right hand side for them immediately. Charging past Scars the left back. Out to Leather on the overlap. It's 2-on-1 there. Though Scars does really well to block the cross. 30 seconds gone. We avoid the threat so far, but I'm sure it's going to be a long old afternoon at the back. 10 gone, we're back with another Stockport throw in an attacking position. Into Bell who puts it in. Good first time finish, Idem couldn't get enough on it. And with 10 gone it's going to be a long day. We knew that all the way from the start. We're not going to get a result out of this game. We're just going to have to try and keep the score down. And again it's Stockport with a throw on that right hand side. And again a cross into the box which beats everyone. Headed away as far as Barrow from Graham. Into the box and Scars heads away. Falls for Carter, can we counter here? 2 men up there as we know. But it falls evades both of them and is brought away by Stockport. It's Subic inside to Uche. He finds Curran in the middle for Stockport. Again out wide to Osborne. They're just all over us here. And we might even have to go a bit more attacking. We have done it in a couple of games. And it's just allowed us to get forward on the break. Although Morris is in one-on-one here. Mistake by the defender. Can he finish? Just took too long and it was blocked. It could have been a chance for us to nick one on the break. And that's pretty much how our season's gone so far. Scars has scored a screamer and a free kick. Pearson scored a couple of tap-ins to open goals. And Morris has created a few on the break in behind. Other than that, we've not done anything great. We've never scored a good goal. We've never scored a free-flowing attack. We've always just been nicking ones on the counter, and we never really had the better of any match. But a quarter of the game gone, it's not been too bad so far, though Joe Scars is now on the yellow card, and they're about to double their lead, are they? They're not. He then makes a really good save, and he does very well to hold it as well. Hartstone heads away as the next highlight starts. Osborne on the right into the box. Good block, Scars, and it's fallen for Leather. Again, it's in and Graham misses it. Awful touch by the right back. Of course he's filling in out there, but he should know how to clear it. Eventually Hartstone gets it behind. Good save Idem, we're just about clinging on, but this could be 4 or 5 if Stockport wanted to. Uche into the box, Idem does well, manages to hold it too, and hopefully the highlight will end there, and this game will just calm down for a few minutes. It's a long ball forward by the keeper though, Pearson going up and losing out. It falls for Scars, but the highlight ends. I'm guessing we didn't create a worthy attack. It's a free kick for Scars 30 yards out. A good chance for us to have a go. Straight into the wall and now there's a break on. There's got to be 6 on 2 here. It's ridiculous. They're running back as quick as they can. But that was a really poor bit of defending. It's Barrow on the left hand side for Stockport. The danger's not over yet. It's into Uche. Look how much time they've got. We have to sit deep and that's the punishment for it. Although this one whistles just over the bar. Curran having a free swing from 25 yards. Half an hour gone. Is Stockport coming forward again. Absolutely running riot here. Although we've got a chance with Pearson on the counter. He's just run away from the ball. He's not even put a challenge in and Uche just picks it up. And now they're coming forward again. Graham with a long ball forward. Pearson doing his best to get out the way again. Really not been too impressed with him this year. Curran coming forward unopposed for the 3rd time. But this shot goes harmlessly wide at a post. Half an hour gone. It remains 1-0. Stockport absolutely dominant here. Another corner, Uche to deliver. Outswinger to the back post, beats all of the players. Falls for Turner and we try to get a challenge in. Kennedy does well and clears it long. Again, Pearson's got their second. He's second best to absolutely everything. We need him working harder and that's directly led to that goal. Again, Bell at the front post with a brilliant finish. They're saying he'd then beat him too easy at his front post. I'm not quite sure what he can do about a quick glancing finish. I'm more blaming Pearson up front, who didn't even really put in a challenge. Maybe we need to think about changing him to a supporting target man. I'm just going to trial it for the rest of this game. It's a match where we're not expecting to get any result, so it's a good one to see if it makes any difference. Well, half time, what do you expect? We're 2-0 down against a very good side. We've got 13 senior players fit and it shows in this performance. We're playing a centre half at right wing back. We're getting absolutely overrun in the wide areas. What can you do when you haven't got any available? I think we're just going to have to accept our punishment. So we're going to go to an attacking mentality. Just try and get the ball forward more quickly. Stick with that slight tactical tweak to Pearson. I just want to see him challenge for a ball. If he doesn't do it by the hour mark, then Daniel and T will probably come on. It's Williams back to to Hartthorne, the centre-back. Morris flicks it on ironically. Pearson doesn't get there. It's clear to Carter. Can we now get it forward for a chance to score? Lundstrom switches it over to Scars, managing to get forward for a rare attempt. He finds Carter and we're back to Kennedy again. And again we're forced to go backwards as Kennedy gives it away trying to switch it. On the counter it's Stockport. The highlight ends. Thankfully it didn't lead to anything, but we're giving away possession going for long balls because we haven't got any short options available. We're back with Lundstrom in the centre circle. He's just being drifted out wide here. Good ball through though. Pearson picks it up. His touch went backwards and then he shot. It's over the bar. It's terrible forward play. Didn't really make much of a difference there. I really want that right back to come in on loan. I think it was Accrington they were trying to get him from. Because he can play wing back as well, it means we can push him and Scars forward, and it just allows us to be that bit more attacking. With those two I think we could then have an attacking wide threat and the three centre halves to feel a bit more comfortable. Just over an hour gone. Pearson's coming off. Daniel and T's going to come on up front. We're going to have to play him as a target man on support. There's no other attacking change we can make. We've got three in central midfield that I don't want to switch up. Graham's knackered, so Jaron will get another chance at right back. And then we've got Scarisbrick, Bunting and Philby to choose from. And we'll give it 5 more before making the last change. Well, 20 to go, so the time we did the same as the last episode, just at least try and get back into this match. We're going to take off one of the midfielders. Who's been worst? I think it's probably been Kennedy, although he's got a good rating and Lundstrom keeps getting sent off, though Kennedy is looking a little bit tired too. So we're going to bring Bunting on for him. Normally it'd be Scarisbrick in the middle, and we're going to put Carter to a central midfielder. He's going to go back to his attacking duty though, and then Bunting's going to go over to this right wing here, and he's going to be a winger on attack till the end. Just try and get more crosses into the box. We're going to ask him to try and find a target man, and fingers crossed he'll be able to put a couple of good balls in and we'll be able to nick at least a goal for the home fans. 20 to go, let's see if we can do it, but as it stands we're heading back towards the relegation zone. Well, 10 to go. Matty Idem's got a free kick just inside his own 6-yard box. It's not cleared long and Bell clears it forward, though Scars nods it down for Hartthorne. We're starting to pick up yellow cards as we're getting overrun in the middle. Williams misses it. It's Berlin again. Scores his hat-trick there. Idem had no chance. It's awful defending. Not one but 2 defenders let it bounce. And how have these guys got such good star ratings? They're poor in the air. Their judgment's poor. And they look absolutely inept as a back 3. I'm tempted just to go to a back 4 and play 2 kids on the wings, because this really isn't working against the bigger sides. They're completely overrunning us and charging at our 5. A long ball forward, it only finds Williams. Can we at least create one chance? It's into and T's in 1-on-1. Shewson puts it wide. He panics, he's got no composure up there, and he's a bit of a makeshift forward. Usually, of course, he'd be a right winger. 5 to go, it's 3-0 to Stockport, and to be fair, it could have been worse against one of the top sides. They've come down from the National League, they've got a really good squad, and at 3 we shouldn't really be complaining. Just a couple of seconds left, the whistle will go any second, hopefully before we concede a 4th, and fingers crossed Lundstrom won't get himself sent off either. That tackle was just about time right. It's a throw on the right, but the final whistle does go. A 3-0 defeat at the hands of Stockport, and Niall Bell hat-trick, a good player who made the difference, and you can see we still desperately need players. Why on earth is our director of football not signing them? We've got 2 massive games coming up against Altrincham and Merthyr Town, 2 sides right in that relegation squabble, and we need some help before those 2 games, and I need that Accrington right back to be one of them. So we're not going to show that next game on camera, but I am going to skip ahead to Tuesday quickly, just to see if we've got any more transfer action. Hopefully this Harry Perrett will join the club. Well, we haven't yet reached that game on Tuesday or had any transfer news, although Perrett has now agreed to join Bradford Park Avenue. He's rejected us for another side at this level. They're up in second, we can't complain at that, but we're going to have no help going into Tuesday's game again. We have got news about takeovers though. This has popped up 2 or 3 times now, every time dismissed by the owner, but he's not putting anything into the club, and then our director of football working with him isn't spending the wage bill. It's limited as it is, and using half of it doesn't help, so I'm really starting to get quite frustrated here. I'm keeping an eye out for jobs. There's nothing really coming up at this level yet, so I'm going to have to stick with Kettering for now. We'll continue to Tuesday to see if we get a miracle signing, or at least if a bid gets made for someone. Well, we've reached Tuesday night and we've not even put a bid in for a player. We've got nearly $3,500 of the wage budget remaining. There's even a transfer budget there as well. And before we finish, I just want to show you the scouting page to show you the players that have been scouted by the club. So you can see some of the players available. The fact that loads of them are clubless at the moment. Who's to say with $3,000 he couldn't get a few of these in? And he hasn't even tried, which is the disturbing bit. And Reece Kavanagh's available for loan again, and he hasn't even looked into that option either. Armando Broja, a hero from last last year he featured quite heavily in our Torquay save, so good to see him there. But these are the players that are being scouted by our Director of Football and Scouts. Absolutely nothing coming of it, and I'm finding it really baffling at the moment. I don't understand why nothing's happening. So we desperately need to get at least one result in these two games, and by a result I mean a win. If we lose to both of them, we'll be in the bottom three for sure, and then we're going to have to start to worry about our job, as I don't think our reputation's great at the minute. Our manager performance is a B-, but one defeat and we're back in the relegation zone, so we need to get a win and get into mid-table. Then hopefully someone gets sacked in and around us. We'll be able to take that job. It can't be any worse than this one. If they've got 16 semi-pros signed on, then we'll go and join the club in a heartbeat. But if you did enjoy this episode and that struggle against Stockport County, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments if you still think we're going to get sacked and how long you think it'll take. We've got a local derby coming up in the FA Cup as well. We'll probably lose because we've got no players to rotate the squad with. I might even have to name a youth team, as the finances at the club aren't too bad. Probably because we're not using any of the wage bill. It's all a little bit of a merry-go-round at the moment, but I'll be keeping my eye on that job centre screen and crossing my fingers that something comes up. Let me know in the comments if you think there's anything else I can do. I think I might just go for a back four today. Gareth Dean has been really struggling, so we're going to get two wingers on, and we're just going to play a flat midfield too and go for a 4-4-2. A bit like we have in the Dawkins save. Fingers crossed it will work. We've got T who can play on the right hand side, and either Bunting or a young left winger on the other side. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM20 content from my two long-term stories. Dorking Wanderers will be back tomorrow. I'm really having a great time with that one. And then this one's back in 2 days. Hopefully we'll be going for another job. If not, maybe we'll have some new signings here. But we of course said that a couple of days ago. Probably more likely we'll be in the sack race, and fingers crossed we'll survive it. We can't be starting with a sacking again. It seems to be becoming an annual theme now. Again, a massive thank you to everyone that's helped me to 1,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate it, as I said at the start. And a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series. I hope to see you next time as we try and keep ourselves in a job.